gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah. You gotta work, never tell, keep your head down, find what you love and excel, yeah.
Over the past 2 years, foldable phones have gone from niche to mainstream. While the overall smartphone market keeps shrinking, China's foldable market grew 65% in Q1. Even some of my friends are now considering a foldable for their next phone. And with the Vivo X Fold 6 now launched, Huawei, OPPO, Vivo, and Honor have all updated their latest foldables. So today, we're comparing these 2026 models, what they do best, where they fall short, and which one stands out.
Big thanks to my tech partner over in China for providing this footage. I really appreciate the support in making this video happen. Hey everyone, Stella here from techiestreet. If you're into staying updated with the newest gadgets, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our latest tech content.
Let's start with the launch timeline. Huawei Mate X7 came first with HarmonyOS 6. Then came the Honor Magic V6 in March, followed by OPPO Find N6. Honor focused on an ultra-thin design, while OPPO focused on an incredibly flat inner display. Finally, Vivo X Fold 6 arrived in June, targeting a completely new large-screen experience. Huawei is the premium option, starting at 12,999 yuan, around £1,430 or $1,926. Vivo is the most affordable. Now, let's compare them one by one: design, inner display, battery, and cameras. Starting with design, Huawei's Time Gate camera module is easily the most distinctive. My version has a vegan leather back and rounded body, giving it a premium, recognizable look. However, the camera module feels slightly disconnected from the rest of the design. Honor goes in another direction. Its gold rear panel has a 3D grid pattern and octagonal camera cutout, creating a professional, business-like look. OPPO and Vivo stay closer to their youthful identities. Both use simple, solid color backs with circular camera modules, and even their corners look surprisingly similar. But with foldables, looks aren't everything. How they actually feel in your hand matters even more. On paper, Honor is the lightest and thinnest, while Vivo and Huawei are similar in weight. But there's a catch. Honor and Huawei don't include the screen protector in their official weight, so we measured all four under identical conditions. Honor and OPPO were surprisingly close, while Vivo was the heaviest. And honestly, that matches my real-world experience. There's also a difference in the mid-frame. Huawei uses rounded corners, while the other three use more squared frames. Honor and Vivo add some curvature, while OPPO keeps it straight. That helps OPPO's two halves meet very neatly when folded, creating a more unified feel. The downside? Opening it takes slightly more effort. Moving to the outer displays, all four are similar in size. Honor and the others use specially developed glass for better drop protection and scratch resistance. Honor also focuses heavily on display technology, offering higher brightness, high-frequency PWM dimming, and defocus eye care technology. More importantly, it has an anti-reflective coating that reduces reflections and makes outdoor viewing much easier. Combining drop protection, scratch resistance, and anti-reflective performance is difficult, so Honor clearly invested heavily here. Now we reach what truly defines a foldable: the hinge and inner display. Huawei feels different from the others. Opening starts with a spring-like sensation, followed by noticeable resistance at certain angles. It also offers the widest opening angle. The other three keep some resistance early on, then provide a spring-like movement at a certain angle. For resistance, OPPO feels strongest, followed by Honor, then Vivo. Once opened, OPPO takes the lead with its incredibly flat inner display. Even after fully opening the mechanism, the crease is almost impossible to notice unless you look closely. There are even rumors Apple could use a similar mechanism in a future foldable iPhone. We'll see if that happens. Honor and Vivo have visible creases from certain angles, but during normal use, they aren't very distracting. Huawei's crease is more noticeable, possibly because its foldable design has been around longer. And here's how all 4 displays look under direct sunlight. We also need to talk about dust and water resistance. Remember older foldables? They felt so fragile that even wind and rain seemed dangerous. Owning one almost felt like handling industrial equipment. Thankfully, that has changed dramatically. Modern foldables are much tougher, so you don't constantly need to protect them. Honor still has an advantage, though, with dust resistance beyond the others. So that covers the hardware and exterior experience. And honestly, when folded, these 4 now feel remarkably similar, almost like 4 cardboard cutouts with only small differences. The next big area is software, especially how well each system uses that large inner display. Most large foldables essentially combine 2 normal smartphone screens into one almost square display. And after years with foldables, we've learned something important. Full-screen video isn't nearly as useful as we once imagined. The real advantage comes with documents and multitasking. That's where the extra screen space actually matters. For example, Huawei Mate X7 supports 3-screen multitasking through panoramic multi-window. Window animations are smooth, and switching feels very fluid. But there are limitations. First is app compatibility. Not every app supports split screen. Some, like Taobao, use pop-up windows, so the apps can't be controlled simultaneously. Games also don't support panoramic multi-window. And even without gaming, running a video beside 2 text or image apps can make the phone noticeably warm after about 5 minutes. There's another small issue. You can only switch directly between neighboring apps. If another app sits between them, you have to tap twice. Because of this, Huawei's system feels better suited to tasks like checking contracts or stock information than everyday multitasking. Honor also supports 3-screen multitasking, but when folded, its interface feels like turning pages in a book, letting you jump directly between apps. From a logical and intuitive perspective, this is probably the simplest approach. Even after exiting, Dock 2 saves the app combination, making it easy to return to the same setup. The overall smoothness is excellent, although heat generation is quite similar to Huawei.
The newer OPPO and Vivo models take a different approach from the earlier phones. They offer more features, but they also have a steeper learning curve. Take split screen. OPPO supports a 2-finger gesture, while Vivo lets you fold the screen into split-screen mode. Some apps also add extra tools, including focus modes like this. OPPO handles heat well, and switching between floating windows is easy. But there's one frustrating issue. If you split one app, the video on the right automatically pauses when you browse on the left. That defeats one of the biggest reasons to use split screen. Vivo goes even further. It supports 4 split-screen apps, plus Atomic Workbench, allowing up to 5 apps at once. You can focus on one app while monitoring the others. But there's a catch. Even one split-screen app can feel slow to load, and several apps make things worse. For example, exiting a video can sometimes require 2 taps. Compared with the other phones, Vivo's performance here is clearly weaker. And that brings us to performance. Huawei uses its self-developed Kirin 9030 Pro. Honor and OPPO use Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, but Honor allows full power while OPPO is more restrained. Vivo uses the Dimensity 9500. We ran a 30-minute Genshin Impact test. Huawei averaged 57.2 FPS. After about 20 minutes, it locked to 50 FPS before recovering. Honor averaged 42.6 FPS, dropping to 40 FPS after only 2 minutes and staying there. OPPO averaged 40.7 FPS and began locking to lower frame rates in under 3 minutes. Vivo was fairly average in everyday use, but gaming changed everything. It was the only one that consistently stayed close to 60 FPS, averaging 58.7 FPS. It also handled temperature and power consumption better, so for younger users, Vivo looks like the stronger gaming choice. Now let's talk about the foldable display and battery life, because battery endurance is still a major concern with foldables.
Huawei and Honor use dual battery configurations. Vivo offers the largest battery in its standard version, while Huawei has the smallest. But here's the surprising part. Battery life differences were actually small. In our 5-hour test, all four were fairly close. Honor and Vivo delivered standard results, while Huawei improved endurance through system-level power scheduling. In my daily use, I mostly stay on the outer display and only occasionally open the inner screen. With that usage, battery life is easily enough for commuting, travel, and a full day outside. Now the cameras. Foldables have a major hardware limitation. Internal space is roughly half that of a traditional phone, and keeping the device comfortable to hold means camera hardware has to make compromises. Still, all four flagships offer triple camera systems with telephoto lenses. Vivo goes further with a 200-megapixel main camera. Overall, Vivo has stronger sensor and pixel specifications on both the main and telephoto cameras. Huawei's advantage comes from its exclusive Hongthing lens, which helps produce more accurate colors. Vivo also makes its telephoto camera a major highlight. It supports dedicated imaging accessories and extension lenses for even more telephoto reach. After comparing everything and using these phones myself, let's break down who each one is really for. First, the Huawei Mate X7 clearly targets premium business users. Its self-developed processor and Huawei operating system create a strong 1 + 1 > 2 effect. In real use, the experience is better than the specs alone suggest. Huawei's biggest strength is also its massive ecosystem. For cross-device collaboration, HarmonyOS is genuinely one of the best. But there are drawbacks. HarmonyOS is separated from other operating systems, which can be limiting for some users, and its high starting price will turn some buyers away. I previously shared my long-term experience with the Honor Magic V6. After comparing it directly with these phones, I still think it's one of the strongest large foldables this year. System optimization, battery life, dual speakers, fast charging, Bluetooth 6.0, and hardware are all extremely well covered. Software compatibility is also excellent. Overall, it's balanced, easy to use, and offers strong value. Its biggest weakness is occasional small and unexplained software bugs. OPPO takes a more refined, youthful approach. Its biggest advantage is excellent crease control, while overall performance stays consistently above average. It also balances performance and imaging well, making it ideal for younger users who multitask, browse content, and take photos. The main weaknesses are its split-screen logic and slightly higher price. However, I've heard the price has recently dropped, so this might actually be a great time to consider it. As for Vivo, I'd recommend it to people who never cared much about foldables but are now curious to try one. Atomic Workbench creates a completely different large-screen experience, and it genuinely feels unique. Smoothness and smaller details still need work, but its biggest advantage is price. The starting price is a full 10,000 yuan lower. Finally, let's talk about the large foldable itself. I used to think the huge inner screen was only useful for watching zoomed-in videos, but our habits have changed. We consume more information than ever, and our attention is constantly divided. Watching or doing something else while a video plays is becoming normal. That's why I've started appreciating the square inner screen created by combining two smartphone displays. And honestly, once you get used to it, going back is surprisingly difficult. I still haven't switched back to my old X300 Pro, and that's why I really hope Apple eventually releases a larger foldable too. But next year, I hope we all have enough backbone to avoid blindly following every trend. Alright, that's everything for today. I hope this comparison helped you figure out which foldable is right for you. If you enjoyed it, hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!